resolves to hold another sitting today, the date being 24th of 2020 after the 10 a.m. sitting. A motion by Honorable Benjamin G. Mwamgi on the Public Service Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2019, is set to resume in this morning sitting. Also, in the second sitting slated for this morning session, the Chairperson Budget and Appropriations Committee will be moving a special motion. This is on the approval of the third basis for sharing of the national revenue allocated to county. The Committee of the Whole House will be considering the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2019 by Honorable Andrew Modime. There will be a resumption of debate on the Public Service Commission Bill number 27 of 2019. The House will equally be debating a motion or a bill by Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah on the National Disaster Management Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2019. And also lined up for debate in this morning session is the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2019 by Honorable Simon Kang'ara, and the Crops Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 25 of 2019 by Honorable Kasim Sawa Chanza. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Orders number 42A, subsection 5, the following members will be asking questions for reply before specified departmental committees. Honorable Peter Masara, the MP for Suna East, will be by private notice ask the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of the National Government to explain the circumstances that led to the violent confrontations between the police and the residents of Gotquer village. This is in Suna West Sub-County during a religious pilgrimage at Reggio Maria Faithful on the 14th of September 2020, and what is the status of the investigations into the incident, as well as the measures that have been put in place to ensure that that action is taken against police officers who misuse their firearms. And when will be the affected families be compensated for the loss incurred of their loved one? That particular question will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. Member for GEM, Honorable Elisha Odhiambo, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs what steps the ministry has taken to facilitate the retrieval of the body of James Osala Nyandenge. This is a resident of East Game Ward in Game constituency who was murdered while fishing in Lake Victoria on the Tanzanian territory of the waters. This occurred on the 31st of August 2020, and his body was thrown into the lake. The honorable member will equally be seeking to understand what diplomatic measures that have been put in place to ensure peaceful coexistence between communities living in the counties and countries between Kenya and Tanzania, and those who use fishing as a source of livelihood to ensure that they live in harmony. That particular question will be replied before the Committee of Defense and Foreign Relations. Honorable Member for Wendo, Honorable Walter Wino, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife what measures has the ministry put in place to avert the closure and subsequent collapse of hotels and hospitality industry in the country after the reported intended closure of the Intercontinental Hotel in Nairobi. That particular question will be replied before the Committee of Sports, Culture and Tourism. On your screens is the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Moses Chiboy, making his way into the chamber. I'll now hand you over for the live broadcast. My name is Gladys Mungai. Good morning.
Wajumbe, tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umeteua nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu, tukusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambayo umeridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba ututeremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa, na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako ziendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi hii yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Honorable members, very interestingly, we have such a big turnout of members this morning, and therefore we meet the required quorum and business will begin. It will be a brief one, so honorable members, you have to be very keen. We will be doing probably about 45 minutes.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Under this particular order, we have the Chairperson Budget and Appropriation Committee and the Chairperson Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. So we'll start with the Chairperson Budget.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, September 24th, 2020, the morning sitting. That is the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on its consideration of the third basis for revenue allocation among county governments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Then we go to the Chairperson Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. The Honorable Member for Kangema. You know, we will have to indulge the member for Kangema. He has been in this battle for too long. 1974 to date is a serious business. So you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, if you indulge me for about 5 minutes, just to put my house in order.
Okay, the house is definitely in order. I think we will still indulge you anyway.
There are some documents with the Speaker. I'm just getting them now.
Okay, okay. We will just a minute.
Get to you, sir, with your.
We will allow you that the Honorable Member for Kangema. We will then proceed to the next order. But once you are ready, we will give you an opportunity to canvass what you are supposed to. Actually, to table papers, which is fairly straightforward. I actually think you could do it now, because it's just a question of laying papers. I think you could, Honorable Chair. so that we make it as tidy as possible, because if we go back and forth, it will not be very. Yes, proceed.
Thursday, September 24th, 2020. Report of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs on the vetting of nominees for the appointment as registrar and assistant registrars of political parties, respectively. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Then we move to the next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
We will start this particular one again with the chairperson, Budget and Appropriation Committee.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that pursuant to the provisions of Article 217(1) and 4 of the Constitution on allocation of the share of national revenue among counties, this House concurs with the Senate and approves the third basis for the annual allocation of the share of national revenue to the county level of government for the financial year 2020-2021 to 2024 to 2025, which shall consist of the following allocation ratio and formula, where 1, allocation ratio is equal to the shareable revenue allocated to counties in the financial year 2019-2020. 2, the formula is 18% of population index plus 17% health index plus 10% agriculture index plus 5% urban index plus 14% poverty index plus 8% area index, land area index plus 8% roads index plus 20% basic share index, where land area will be capped at 7%, and the formula will use the 2019 population and the 2015-2016 KIHBS poverty index statistics. Mr. Speaker, I seek your indulgence such that I don't go through the formula at the moment, and it is in the order paper. But go down the formula, you can actually see it, and in fact, if I try to go through it, you will even cause more confusion to the members, because you will do it when I will be moving. Further, that the basis for the allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government for the financial year 2020-2021 to 2024-2025 shall be applied as follows. A, equitable share for 2020-2021, that is the county allocation is equal to allocation ratio plus 0, that is the formula. And B, equitable share for the 2020-21 to 2022 to 2024 to 2025 of Kenya shilling 370 billion shillings, and above county allocation, which is 0.5 into bracket allocation ratio plus equitable share minus 0.5 allocation ratio times the formula. Provided that for the duration of the operation of the third basis for the allocation revenue among the counties, no counties or no county shall receive in any financial year an amount of shareable revenue that is less than the amount of shareable revenue received by the county in the financial year 2019-2020. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Then we go to the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, the honorable member for Kangema.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs in its report on the vetting of the nominees for the appointment of registrar and assistant registrars of political parties, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 24th September 2020, and pursuant to the provisions of paragraph 6 of the 6th schedule to the Political Parties Act 2011, this House, A, approves the appointment of the following persons to the office of the Registrar of Political Parties as indicated. Roman A, 1, Ms. Anne Derito, Registrar of Political Parties. Roman 2, Mr. Ali Abdullahi Sulo, Assistant Registrar. Roman 3, Ms. Lawrence Tabu Beria, Assistant Registrar. And B, rejects the appointment of Makore Wilson Mohochi as an Assistant Registrar of Political Parties. Thank you, sir.
Very well. Next order.
Order number 8. Order number 7. Questions and statements. Order number 7. Questions and statements. Order number 8. The Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 65 of 2019. Second reading. Question to be put.
Yes, this had been canvassed and concluded. What remained was a question to be put, and I can confirm that we have the required numbers to put the question. So I proceed to put the question, which is that the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 65 of 2019, be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Cancer Prevention and Control Act and for connected purposes. Order number 9, motion, approval of a second sitting.
Yes, the leader of majority party.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion, that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 33B, this House resolves to hold another sitting today, Thursday, September 24th, 2020, after the 10 a.m. sitting. Honorable Speaker, as members will be aware, we have waited for a long time to get a resolution on how funds will be disbursed to the counties. It's been a protracted issue. Eventually, the Senate agreed on some basis, which will be presented, and notice of which has been given. And we would want this House to demonstrate to the Kenyan people that we care for life out there, and we care for the counties, and we are the real protectors of devolution. And to facilitate and expedite the process of approval of what has come from Senate, much as we have 60 days, we in House Business decided we need to accelerate this process. So we created 2 sessions this morning, or we proposed to create 2 sessions this morning, so that in the first session, the tabling has been done. And if you recall, the Speaker had communicated that the report was to be uploaded, and so that members already have information. As has become this morning, is to just ensure that we go through our processes procedurally, unlike elsewhere, that we have tabled in one session, then we create a second session to now debate. So you have 2 sessions today, which is just so good for members in terms of having a break and ensuring that what happened in this session is different from the next one. And basically that's what we're asking you to approve. It's purely to ensure that we live within the spirit of procedures and we don't deviate from processes. And you can't table a report and debate it at the same time. It's been debated, it was tabled already. Now we'll have a break of about 10 to 15 minutes. Then we'll come back and now go through the report. I'm also conscious that we had promised that Thursday will be a private members' day. And already we have transacted one private members' motion. When we are through with the matter of the basis of allocation of money to the counties, we'll go back to private members' business. And we, in house business, obviously are very conscious that we want to give private members' bills as much priority as possible. And so we're very grateful, obviously, that you, in the greater public interest, will allocate some of this time, solve our counties, and then after that, we can go back to our own business. So I really want to urge members, let us create this session. Let us fast track the process of money going to the counties, and then we'll go back to so that we are not seen to be delaying as has happened elsewhere. With those few remarks, I urge members we support, and I beg to move and ask the Honorable John Buddy with the Minority Party to second.
The Leader of Minority Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in addition to what the Leader of Majority has said, we considered this matter, and Mr. Speaker, this morning, the Honorable Kanini Kega, on behalf of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, has tabled a report on the third basis of the annual allocation of the share of national revenue to our 47 counties. And Mr. Speaker, we are all aware that our procedures don't allow us to deal with this more than one stage of a bill or a motion at the same time. And therefore, we are requesting this House to allow for another sitting to be able now to debate and approve this report. But Mr. Speaker, I don't want to conclude my seconding of this motion without saying that all this would have not happened if the Senate acted within the required time. Mr. Speaker, the people of Kenya should be aware that the formula, the third generation formula as it is widely called, was introduced in the Senate, or rather the proposals were introduced in the Senate from the Commission on Revenue Allocation on the 30th of April 2019. And Mr. Speaker, from 30th April 2019 to sometime mid this year, the Senate sat on that formula and never gave it any consideration. And even when they started now considering the bill, we also, the theatrics and the drama in the Senate, where the Senate sittings kept on being adjourned for a record over 10 times. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution also provided for the National Assembly to be engaged in this formula. I think the Senate needs to be aware that even though they have more powers in terms of approving the formula, but the people of Kenya also allowed the National Assembly to engage with this formula. And just giving us hours, Mr. Speaker, I sit in the Budget and Appropriation Committee, and we barely had 2 hours to look at this formula critically, and a very important formula that is going to likely to be used for 5 years in this country. It is unfair, it is unjust, and I just want to ask the Senate that I hope this is the last time that we are going to witness this kind of negligence, this kind of abdication of duty on the part of the Senate. However, Mr. Speaker, I want to request this House to allow the committee, to allow us to have the second sitting so that we can transact this third generation formula in the next sitting and possibly conclude it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second.
So, honorable members, I will propose the question which is that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 33B, this House resolves to hold another sitting today, Thursday, September 24th, 2020, after the 10 a.m. sitting. I put the question, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 33B, this House resolves to hold another sitting today, Thursday, September 24, 2020, after 10 a.m. sitting. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Order, honorable members, order, order. Order, members. And the time being 10:22 a.m., this House stands adjourned until later today, Thursday, September 24th at 10:35 a.m. 10:35 a.m.